This is Kirk.
And this is Byrd. It's the Kirk and Byrd Show. And we've got May Cuyler of Brentsville District High School, and she is a three-time state champion in girls high school wrestling. Welcome to the show, May.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited about this. We're trying to, I would say in 2023, 24, give a lot of attention and love to girls and women's sports. Our coverage this year, we focused a lot more on girls basketball, and then we covered the boys, but we gave a lot of love to the girls coaches, to players, to the programs throughout Northern Virginia and the entire state of Virginia. We've covered girls soccer. We've covered a little bit of everything, but this is our first opportunity to have someone who doesn't just wrestle. VHSL just made it an official sport 2 years ago, but you're a champion. You're a state champion right down the street from me. My kids went to Cogan, and so this is a lot of fun. So again, thank you, May, for joining us. Before we get started, Kirk, why don't you tell folks where they can find us?
Yes, May, I was going to tell you that I heard about you a couple of years ago. So if you think people don't pay attention to accomplishments, somebody probably 30, 40 miles away up here in Loudoun County, but please subscribe to us on YouTube like May has already done and her parents and grandparents are going to do. Follow us on Twitter at the Kirk and Byrd. And then everything else, if you want to find us, all the podcast platforms, we are out there. Just Google the Kirk and Byrd Show. And we've been putting energy into a Facebook forum, because for you folks in Northern Virginia, Hampton Roads and Richmond has some huge forums, like 10,000 people and parents. So we're trying to start that. It's the 703-540 Nova High School Sports Forum. Check that out on Facebook. Ask to join. We put content on there. We're getting into recruiting, right now with all the sports. May knows about that. And we put some announcements on there when people recruit and all those. So please check us out.
All right, cool, good stuff. So May, let's get into it. Now, let me ask you, I don't know how all the classifications are. So is girls wrestling divided like other sports where you have class 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6?
Not yet, because we're still growing the sport. So right now it's all the girls in Virginia, but hopefully once we grow the sport more, we can start, getting more people, and it'll probably have to separate at that point.
Wow, so it's the whole state regardless of your school size.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. And so you were the state champion, three-time state champion, but this year you were in the weight class of what,
152.
152. That's what I thought.
Were you 136 last year? Or was it 133, something like that?
I was 136 sophomore year, and then I believe 145 last year.
Oh wow, okay. And then so there's no class 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or single A, double A, triple A. You're just the best 152 in the whole state, period, right?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
She is. Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. So tell us about this your senior year, and tell us about your season. And let's inform our audience about girls wrestling. Like, what does a typical season look like? Do you have enough opponents during your matches? Do you have to sometimes wrestle boys? Tell us about a typical season, and if it's changed from when you first started.
So when I first started, my coaches put me in JV and boys varsity, and they put me in girls tournaments just so I could get experience. So I did wrestle boys during the high school season, and then they took me to a few tournaments, but then mostly I wrestled girls in the off season, so during the summer with freestyle. And then last year I went to a lot of big girl tournaments, and I didn't really wrestle guys as much, so I went to Powerade and Beast, and that's what I did this year too. I only wrestled guys a few times, and I wrestle mostly girls now, especially since when we get to the heavier weights, the guys are a lot bigger and stronger.
Okay.
You seen the number of girls wrestling just in your 3 years increase, May?
Yeah, it's skyrocketed. Yeah.
I think I read somewhere that at the state championships there were over 400 girls participating.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's right.
Wow, that is amazing and great. We're
That was at Garfield, right? Locally? Wasn't that down in Garfield? At Garfield High
Yeah.
School. Okay, good, good.
and so Kirk and I both have daughters, and so we're big advocates and supporters of girls athletics, and so this really, you in wrestling, but it's so many ways that girls and women's sports are really blowing up, and we just experienced it with Caitlin Clark in girls basketball for Iowa. Like the girls have been balling like this for years, but it really took her special last 2 year run to get up more viewers. And I know wrestling hasn't gotten there, but it's going to be on its way. I can guarantee you, because when folks really start to realize, hey, these young ladies can do work just like the guys. The most watched basketball game, period, in the last 5 years was the game on Sunday at 3 o'clock. Almost 19 or over or 19 million people watched Iowa play South Carolina. And so I'm so happy that girls and women's sports are getting this attention. What is the participation in girls wrestling, and then what do your meets get good turnout?
Um, so basically what's happening right now is they're trying to make a girls division for all the guys tournaments that already exist. So like for
Okay,
Powerade, they made girls Powerade, and for like Beast, they made girls Beast. And so
okay,
we're seeing like last year it wasn't very big, but this year there's definitely like bigger brackets, and I see the growth just in 1 year. So I think what they're gonna keep doing is trying to encourage girls to go to those tournaments, and the guys are definitely encouraging it as well. So I think they're gonna keep adding girls tournaments and even make girl specific ones for people to join.
did you start as a freshman wrestler?
No, because freshman year was COVID, so I started sophomore year.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, all right. And then we in Prince William County we have middle school sports. Did you wrestle in middle school? And what middle school did you attend?
Yeah, I wrestled in middle school. I went to Marsteller Middle School.
Oh, okay, all right. Because I know some kids, my kids went to Benton, and I know some Benton kids do go to Brentsville District. So I just didn't know if you were a part of that program, because I know they've had a strong program. Okay, all right.
Is it seasonal? Like, we know when wrestling season is. It's in the winter months, but like basketball has summer basketball, and then football, they're doing weightlifting and there's spring football now. Well, what's the season like for wrestling and girls wrestling?
Girls wrestling in the off season is freestyle, whereas in high school it's folk style. So it's like a little different technique. And I personally like freestyle better, but I would say girls mostly wrestle freestyle in the off season.
What's that difference, real quick? What is the difference between those two?
So scoring is different. So like for example, freestyle, you get back exposure points. So every time you roll them over, you get like 2 points. And then tech falls, which would be beating them by points. In freestyle, that's 10 more points than your opponent. But in folk style, it's 15 more points. And then
Oh,
also in college, they've changed it right now. So for guys do folk style in college and girls do freestyle in college. So folk style, they've made takedowns 3 points for guys, and then for girls, it's 2 points.
Okay, all right. Now, so your COVID, you did middle school. You COVID. How did you? Let's go back. How did you get started in wrestling?
So my brother's best friend's family is a wrestling family. And so my brother, he joined because his best friend was wrestling. And I was always watching him wrestle, and I thought he was super cool. And I wanted to do everything he did. So then I joined and I tried to like follow along with him.
How much older is your brother than you?
He's 2.5 years older.
Oh, now what was it like growing up with a brother? And I know because I have my daughter is the baby of three, and her one brother is a year older than her, and the other is 3 years older than her. And I think she wrestled right there with and fought, did everything with them. And she actually was my best athlete, definitely faster in track a lot of time. How did it look around the house? Did this wrestling thing just come natural because you guys had already been tussling around?
I mean, yeah. We actually started with judo. So my dad did
Yeah.
judo, and so he brought us to judo. And then we switched over. Well, I switched over to wrestling. My brother still does judo, but he definitely beats me up a lot, but he takes good care of me.
He's how much older is he again? Two.
2.5. So he's 20 right now.
Yeah. That's about my sister was about that much older than me, and I don't know how it is in your household, man, but we used to fight all the time. I mean, physically fight. And once I reached puberty, I started getting bigger and stronger. And my mom and my sister, like, you can't do this anymore. But I will tell you, we were pretty even keeled. And I would assume your brothers taught you a lot too, and the wrestling family that he hangs out with.
Yeah, he has. I mean, physically it's different because he's a boy and I'm a girl, but he's definitely taught me a lot on like the mental aspect of it and the respect part of sports and how to like get through challenges and how to learn.
Yeah. And just like with any, I don't know how many siblings you have, but I know for my brother and I, we grew up with just the two of us, and I'm 2 years older than my brother. Um, for us, just me being the older brother, just I brought him everywhere, and it just made him tougher. Like it made him like I played football, so he played football. And when I played football, he played with me and my friends, and so he ended up being a little bit better basketball and football player. So having that older sibling, it's a benefit. And it maybe seem tough when you're younger, but no, that is great.
So, May, you're graduating and you're going to be going to Presbyterian in South Carolina and you're going to wrestle for them. So, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Um, I would think, like everything else, that's a big jump, right? So, you're going to be wrestling against, much, much better competition.
It's Division
How do you,
One.
yeah,
That's Division 1
how do
wrestling.
you feel about going to the next level? Because we follow sports and we follow all of them, like we told you, and then like that next level is like hardly anybody plays college sports. So I mean, how are you feeling about going to Presbyterian and wrestling for them?
I'm very excited. I went and visited and it just the environment was so open and welcoming and all the girls were super nice. And I'm really excited because I get to like push myself to that next level. And I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure girls in college, like all the divisions still wrestle together right now because it's not big enough to separate. But I think, again, same thing with like different tournaments. Once we grow the sport enough, they'll be able to separate the divisions. But right now, they're all together wrestling.
And so it's also probably it's still probably individual in that they don't have team champion like Brentsville. You all couldn't win a team state championship. Do you have other teammates at Brentsville district girls that wrestle?
Um, like girls wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, do you have other girls at Brentsville that wrestle? Yes.
Yeah, there's one other girl right now. Her name's Gerline, and then also my sister, but she's out right now for injury.
Okay. All right. So it is still more of an individual. I think it's probably even maybe like that in on the college level until you get enough to make full teams and then have team state and national champions. Okay. All right. So you wrestled in high school. What else do you play? Do you play any other sports in high school? Or what about growing up? Did you play other sports?
Um, Not like officially growing up. I My mom put us in lessons. Like I took tennis. I did some basketball. Definitely stuck with judo for the longest time before I switched over to wrestling. And then I ran cross country for just for senior year, but
Okay.
that's all.
I'm sure that Kirk ran cross country in high school. I'm sure that had to help your lungs and stuff for wrestling. Like you have to be in shape to wrestle, but I'm sure that was a benefit.
And definitely like the mental aspect of it, just like you got to keep pushing, keep running, and that definitely translates well to wrestling.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
lot of wrestlers that ran cross country, as I remember. So I got a question for you real quick about wrestling, and then I want to get to know more about you as a person and live through you vicariously because we're getting old. But so it's a physical sport. Like football is a physical sport. And all sports are physical, but I mean you're doing contact. So my question to you is this: if you get angry at someone, okay, and everybody gets angry in a sport, there are some athletes that play better and there are some athletes that play worse. My question is, when you get angry, I'm sure there's both instances of it, right? There's people that get angry, like in tennis, there's people that get angry and they play great. There's people that fold when they're angry. How is it for you in wrestling? Because I would think, very, very, very physical one-on-one sport. How is that with anger? Is that something that you feel like to stay mentally tough, you have to control it?
I would say it's less about anger and it would be more like frustration maybe during a match if someone's like stalling or they're not giving energy or whatever. And there's definitely been times like once I went to Tulsa National Duels and we took a bus and we rode 22 hours to get there. And I wrestled this girl and she just like would not wrestle me and she kept walking out of bounds. And I definitely like got a bit frustrated with her. And there's a video clip of me that went around of me just like shoving this girl out of bounds and everyone was like, "What are you doing, May?" But it can be frustrating when you put in so much work and people don't like reciprocate that. But I would say wrestling, it's hard because you have to be really focused, so you don't really have time for all of these emotions when you're out on the mat. I know it's different for guys because I've seen a lot of guys get angry, but I think a lot of girls right now definitely are trying to encourage each other and we try to have patience for each other and we just encourage each other to grow the sport.
I put my kids in Taekwondo, but I think if you did judo, that has to be a great compliment for wrestling. And so you doing that, let me ask you, doing judo, they do just like other forms of the martial arts, they do also not just the physical, but the mental and being able to have control and focus. But what do you do? Is there much trash talking in wrestling? Because I played football and basketball, and
Question.
I'm a trash talker sometimes, especially if I think if mentally I can get to you. But do you talk trash, or have you had an opponent talk trash?
I've definitely heard stories of guys talking trash about me before going out to wrestle me, and that's
Oh,
really funny. Yeah. So that happens
Yeah.
sometimes. Trash talking is definitely not something that's allowed on my team. The coaches,
mhm.
are teach us to be very respectful, and there's definitely no trash talking in judo because it's a sport that's all about respect, and it comes from
Yeah.
Japan. And you even bow to each other before you walk out onto the mat, showing your respect for the other person. So I think I definitely learned how to use like respectful manners in sports from judo and translated that over to wrestling.
Okay. Um, so I know one of the things with that is so wonderful about um, Caitlin Clark and some of these great girls basketball players and folks that are getting the attention and we see and they have someone to look up to. So even the younger kids now, they're going to be having somebody that they can say, oh, they see and they're getting the name recognition is it and say, I want to be like that. Do you all have that in wrestling yet? Do you have anyone that you can say, this like who would be the GOAT of girls wrestling? Like, do you know? Is that something that because I think I know mixed martial arts, but did Ronda Rousey she wrestle before, or was she more into martial arts before getting into?
I actually think Ronda Rousey did judo before
I
she went
think
to judo.
so. Yeah, because I think her mom was an Olympian in
Hmm.
that. So, but do you all have any people to look up to in your sport?
Definitely like Helen Maroules is probably the biggest one that any girl wrestler would know. I'm actually really bad at following wrestling. I watch like clips on Instagram and stuff, but names just are out of the window for me. I just can't keep up. So definitely a lot of college girls are getting big now, like Kylie Welker from Iowa. I know she's a big name. And so I think the college girls are getting more traction, and that'll be really interesting to watch as they grow.
You do know that there are little girls looking up to you right now that are saying, "I want to be
Oh
the next
yeah,
May."
yeah.
You know that, right?
There's some
Like
girls watching you right now. They're going to wrestle for
they're looking
Brentsville.
at you and
Guarantee
they're
you.
like, "May is the goat." Okay, she's the goat of Prince William and Virginia wrestling. I want to be like her. You do know that, right?
I've had some people come up to me and tell me that, but it's hard to picture it till you like see all the people that come out and watch you and all the people that come up to me and talk to me, and it's really crazy. Yeah.
That is cool, really cool.
Um, the attention that MMA gets. Ronda Rousey's a big name, but Amanda Nunes is way up there too. There's Zhang, she's real big, and they get a lot of attention, and that's when people get eyes on them. And that's a technique sport. It's a similar sport because you did judo and you did wrestling, and it's mixed martial arts. And it's become bigger and bigger, and more people are following and watching this. Was that any kind of inspiration? That's what I should have asked you. Is it an inspiration to you to see those that have come before? I know it's not wrestling, but it's similar.
Oh, it absolutely is an inspiration. Seeing them, seeing how tough they are, seeing how much work they put in, and like even the weight cutting, seeing how much weight they cut, and especially Kayla Harrison. She was also judo player. She was two-time gold medalist in judo, and she went to the UFC, and watching her transition, and she definitely grew the sport of judo because I would say it's pretty small in the US right now. So she definitely grew it, and then she transitioned to MMA, and she's like a mom now and she's still doing it. And so I think it's very inspiring to see how much discipline she has and how much love she has for the sport and how much she puts back into it.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Now, before we do go into some of the kind of offbeat questions, I do want to know who are some of the people that are major influences in your life. It could be whoever, like whether they inspire you for wrestling or in the classroom or just in life. Are there any people that have helped inspire you?
Obviously my parents and definitely my coaches. My coaches have I mean, when I came into high school, I didn't talk to anyone and I didn't really have many friends. And my coaches definitely brought me out of my shell and introduced me to the team. And I love my teammates. They're definitely my biggest inspiration. Um, like Evan Sonati and Billy Tyler, they're probably the two biggest ones I look up to. And I always watch them wrestle and I'm always chasing after them, trying to be like them. So they're probably the biggest ones.
That is cool. That is cool. All right. Kirk, you want to go ahead on and ask a couple of other more outside of the wrestling world questions?
When it's 11 o'clock, let's just say it's a weeknight, and we all know from DoorDash and Grubhub and all that stuff that the only thing available is fast food. So, two-part question. First is, what's your go-to? You got to pick one. Fast food.
Mine is definitely Chick-fil-A.
Oh,
Are they open at 11? Because they close pretty early, but that's a good one now. All right.
Probably
just
not.
change the question to
This
9:30.
kind of stuff is a peek into your soul because second is best fries.
The thing is, I've only really gone to Chick-fil-A because my parents don't encourage eating fast food, and
Okay.
being a wrestler and all, we gotta eat healthy, so it's gotta be Chick-fil-A.
Rusty
Okay.
likes Chick-fil-A. Rusty likes
I,
Chick-fil-A.
I like Chick-fil-A. I don't like waiting. I don't wait in their lines, even though they've perfected the drive-through, moving very very quickly. But it's amazing to me how people know how long the lines can be. But yeah, so okay, and Chick-fil-A does. I love their waffle fries. So, but you have had McDonald's fries, I'm sure.
I
Yes,
have
yes.
only
Okay.
like
Of
once
course,
or
yes.
twice, but I've had them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. You are a female wrestler, which means you have to be in great shape, have to be intelligent, because a lot of people don't understand it's not just the physical, it's also the
That's all.
mental. But um, and I tell you, it is hard to do individual sports like Kirk ran cross country. He played tennis. Like there's nobody else out there. Like it's you. And it's everybody looking at you, and it's you against that other person. So let me ask you this though: if you could have a superpower, all right, what would your superpower be? And it doesn't have to relate to wrestling, but what you've already shown me is you have great mental and physical strength and endurance and stick to itiveness to be doing this sport. But is there some superpower you would like? And it doesn't have to help you for wrestling, but is there something that you would like if you could have any superpower?
Um, Seems pretty basic, but probably like flying. I've always like when
Fly,
you go
flying, flying.
hiking,
Love to fly.
when you go like hiking and you see birds like flying over waterfalls or whatever, that would be like the dream, being able to fly over bodies of water or like invisibility so you can like sneak into the kitchen and your parents can't see you and you can take all
Oh
the
yeah.
snacks to your room.
Wait a minute. Why are you sneaking into your parents' kitchen? Just sneak into Chick-fil-A. You know what I'm saying? No, Kirk has always said his would be flying. But I didn't realize this, but I would pick flying, but I didn't realize until I got older. I'm actually afraid of heights. Like when I was a kid, I wasn't, but I remember being at one of these amusement parks with my daughter, and she was really little at the time, maybe 6 years old. And we were on one of those little lifts that go across the park at Dutch Wonderland, and your feet are just dangling. And I had never been afraid of heights, but I was so worried because she was so little that she might slide under. I started getting nervous just like with the height thing. And ever since then, I've been afraid of heights. I'm like holding her back, and she was just like, hey, dad, and I'm going, oh my God. But now, since then, I am so afraid of heights. But yeah, so flying would not work well for me because I would be just about 5 feet off the ground.
That's a good segue because I was going to say, do you remember? This is 40 years ago, but in the 80s, America's greatest hero had a guy that could fly, but always crashed, and that was a flash in the pan. But so, having said that, Nate, another peek into you as a person is your cinema, your content, or whatever you want to call it. Man, we call it streaming now, movies. How do you get it? Because younger people typically are watching movies on their phone or the laptop. I mean, kids can have an 80-inch TV and they're going to watch a movie on it. But like, is your content from, your phone and your laptop, and are you doing things like Netflix and the classic movies?
Yeah, I would say my phone or TV. My favorite right now is I watch Monk on Prime
Oh
Video.
man, look at that, Monk.
Yes,
Yeah. That's very, very, man, that is like sophisticated taste right there. Wow.
that
Okay.
is cool. Old school, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
How
so
about
if
a
you
favorite
watch
movie?
Monk, oh well,
Okay.
I just want to say, if you watch Monk, do you ever watch gosh, why am I Psych? You ever watch Psych?
My wrestling coach actually told me the other day that that was his favorite because I brought up Monk, so he told me I have to watch it. So I guess that's the next thing I have to watch.
Yeah, you gotta watch Psych. Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Kirk.
This is kind of stuff I can sit around and talk about all night, but favorite movie, go-to movie, or two or three, something like that.
Probably Goodwill Hunting,
It's a great movie.
The
Yeah.
Dark Knight, and then
Number two.
I like Studio Ghibli movies because my mom's Japanese, so she always had us watching those growing up. So movies like Spirited Away or My Neighbor Totoro. Um, Probably the most watched movie is Matilda. I probably watched that every week when I was little.
Movie. Yeah, that's getting old, man. She's all grown up now, man. That girl's
Oh
like
wow.
she's like a 30s or 40s. Hey, May, I literally just found this out like 3 years ago, and Goodwill Hunting came out in the 90s, which is getting close to 30 years. Is there any catch with Goodwill Hunting? It's like, here's the thing. Matt Damon's character, his name is Will Hunting. I just found that out. I mean, there's like tons of people I've said that to, and they're like, I had no idea. So because they
I
barely
didn't know
say his
that.
name, and
I
no, but
love that
that's the
movie. I
thing.
didn't know that.
Is Will
Yeah.
Hunting. How about music?
Music, like favorite artists would probably be Jack Johnson for one, because my dad always used to play him in the car and I would fall asleep to his songs. Um, Probably Shawn Mendes,
Oh yeah.
maybe like Bruno Mars.
Yeah, Bruno Mars is really good.
I like. Yeah.
Have you been to
Cool.
a good sized concert yet? Maybe a Capital One or anything like that?
No, my best friend always tells me she's gonna take me, but I keep I don't know. Everyone always goes, but I just feel like it would be like very overwhelming, but maybe I'll have to go.
Yeah, got that.
You all have grown up with these phones, and if I ask you, what is when you pick up your phone, what is the first app you're going to?
Instagram.
Instagram.
It's always
Instagram, yeah.
Instagram.
Not text. Not
And
text. Text is for
no,
me. I look at
the
text. I
young
get a little
folks go
icon.
straight to Instagram. Yeah, they
It's
go to
okay.
Instagram, and okay, that's probably what. Yeah, all my kids would say too. Yeah, we're old, so if we're going to do anything like that, we're going to go to Facebook. All right. And we'll go to Twitter. We thought we were doing something just because when we were going to Twitter, but we got to get more on the ground. My wife, who she's really into Instagram because she loves all the dog videos.
Text and email, probably for an app. Twitter. Twitter's overtaken Facebook. Because I get all my sports fix. I only do sports, and then I kind of got over putting my life on Facebook. I still watch Facebook a lot. I like Facebook for seeing things that are cool to see, like people getting together from 30 years ago, their kids doing well, their kids graduating, them having kids and all that. But I was going to ask you real quick. Rusty, I haven't asked this one before. This is a great thing. You know how artificial intelligence, everybody, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook Reels, all this, you start watching them, and the artificial intelligence learns what you like.
Oh yeah,
So
the algorithm.
mine, I can tell you right now, I can pull up my phone. It's gonna be on all three of them. I watch Mama Cats and Kittens like crazy. I can watch that forever. May, if you pulled up your phone and you started going through TikTok and all this stuff, what would it be?
It's food. It's always food.
Food? It's food?
Especially when I'm like cutting weight, it's food.
Yeah. You watching like videos of food being made or eaten or?
Yeah, like recipes, food recipes.
Oh, okay. All
Do,
right.
do you watch any of the shows? Like my
I was gonna
wife
say.
and kids, they were like Next Level Chef and some of those shows.
Yeah, I used to watch like baking shows, or what's the one? It's like diners, drive-ins, and dives or
Oh,
something.
That's
dives.
Guy Fieri. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was
yeah, diners,
excellent. That is
dives.
really
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Hell's
Yep.
Kitchen. I like the one where they have the kids baking.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool,
Yep.
cool. So this has been a lot of fun, May. You have been great. And hopefully now I know I've learned a lot. Hopefully some of your fans out there, some of the people all around the state and Prince William County. First of all, we are so proud of you. In case folks don't know, you are the first girl to win a state championship in wrestling from Prince William County, right?
Yep.
And you won and then you repeated that this year. And I want to tell you how much that I am proud of you. Like I've coached a lot of athletes or just been around a lot of athletes these last like 15, 20 years in Prince William County. And whether it's soccer or a girl I coach in track or just any of the athletes, even if I don't know them, I'm just proud. Hey, no, she's from my hometown. He's from my area. So we're gonna have to get you back on, maybe next year this time, so you can tell us how it is wrestling in college. And I tell you what, I'm gonna also be excited. I'm sure you've seen the growth in girls wrestling in high school over these 4 years. How much you're going to be able to tell us the sport has grown over the next 4 years and the collegiate level. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm gonna keep track of you. I'm not just saying that either. I'm a definitely. When is the season? Is it when is the collegiate girls wrestling? What time of year is it?
It's
I
winter.
think it's still winter, but I think it's
Winter,
longer.
okay.
I think it's like
Yeah,
6 months.
I will definitely track you. I just hear a schedule too, Rusty. If she does it, it's close to here. It'd be nice to go to a tournament or something. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. That's exciting.
That is great. May, well, before we close, guys, anything you want to close with? You want to give any shout outs or anything?
Just thank you guys. I really appreciate it, and keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully next time when I see you guys and I'm doing well in college.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you
Year's
will.
coming up.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, it's already April, almost mid-April. You graduate in like less than 2 months, right? Actually,
Well,
didn't
the
this
senioritis
year?
is too bad. Don't get it too bad. Don't let those second semester grades. We all struggled with that one,
It's
and the
at
weather's
this
getting
point,
nice too.
Kirk, it is a wrap. I'm telling you, because these
It is a
kids in
wrap.
Prince William County, you're probably about to do an internship and just chill the last couple of weeks. You guys are about to wrap it up, right?
Yep. I graduate May 31st.
Yeah, this is the first. I know.
Oh.
My kids were Colgan, but my wife's a college and career counselor there. And so, yeah, she was like, May. I was like, whoa. Now, you guys have been starting earlier and earlier over the years. But yeah, it's the first time I've known any Virginia schools to get out in May. So that is cool. That is cool. Yeah. All right. So again, thank you, May, for joining us. This has been wonderful. And we're going to be again cheering you on in college. But like I'm proud to say, hey, I had the GOAT, Prince William County girls wrestling on my show. So, yep. So for my co-host, Kirk Hilliard, for May, this has been the Kirk and Byrd Show. We are out.